Good evening, everybody. All right, as we can see, the direction of the market is still up, but it's still awfully choppy getting there. So at this point, the analysis remains very simple. As long as we stay above the T-line, we're still in an uptrend. This pattern right here, the bobble, shows we should have more upside. And this pattern right here, the evening star signal, it's kind of telling us we have to watch to make sure the E-minis open, or the futures open positive tomorrow to keep us up above the T-line. So at best, we're probably in a very slow uptrend. Now we just have to make sure we're not coming back down. We're pretty much testing this level where it was a resistance level. Now they're acting as a support level. So it'll be important to see how they open the markets tomorrow. Same scenario on the NASDAQ. Just very choppy, up, down, up, down, up, down, but in a slow uptrend. So the only criteria we have to work off of is making sure we stay above the T-line. Let's see, I'm trying to think what influences the markets. Crude oil is now trying to climb up toward the 50, getting very close to it. Unfortunately, we're running out of steam in the stochastics. So we have to watch to see what happens when it gets right here to the 50. Now, remember, support in the crude oil is what's been keeping the market from going down. When the market or the crude oil prices were heading down, that meant the market was heading down because that indicated weak economy. Now that it's basing, that's what's kind of supporting the market. And we don't have a whole lot to chase after right now in the futures area, except for the fact that we can see that silver has pulled back and did a bullish harami today. Now, whenever I see a reversal right here out in no man's land and see that there's been a trend, that's where you can throw your Fibonacci number on and see, is there any relevance to the Fibonacci retracement? And in this case, we can see that they pulled back right smack dab to the 62% retracement and started back up again. So anytime I see a reversal where there's nothing to show support, like a moving average or a trend line, that's when you throw your Fibonacci number on and see if there's any relevance there. Now this is the one that I think everybody still needs to keep an eye on, is gold. And that, as we have mentioned before, is due to this big fry pan bottom, strong price move, pull back to the T-line, J-hook pattern. So what we're watching is, where is the next resistance level? Well, as you can see, there's a wedge formation setting up. And if they get up through this level, we've got buy stops in at 125.20. If it breaks through there, breaks through this downtrending channel, starting wave 3, that should have a very strong next price move. Now, you can trade the futures, or if you're in the stock mode, you can trade Nugget. As you can see, Nugget's been supporting right here on the T-line all the way up. Went through the 200, had a nice strong day today, but we've got a strong upward trend channel that if gold prices break out, we're probably still going to have some very strong moves in the gold stocks. The two that we're following right now is AU doing very well on this one. And SA also doing very well, especially after kind of a J-hook pattern. Oops. Yeah, so yeah, I don't know how to get Meg fixed. Is she got her mute off? Sound is good. All right. Okay. So what is see? We were doing. We did this. Everything else is kind of lethargic. There's nothing great to be said for soybeans. It's just kind of in a sideways mode. Stochastic's still heading down, but we're at the support levels. The dollar, trying to break through, maybe a doji sandwich. Again, we're getting up here near the overbought condition, so we have to see what if they can get through. If they do move another big move, should be up here, which would be the bottom of this trend channel, which now becomes the resistance level. Oh, Sean, yeah, I see no reason why you shouldn't still be in gold positions. Whoops. This is AGI, Alamos Gold, kind of a little J-hook. I'd be ready for wave 3. So there's still still some big opportunities in the gold area. And again, it all boils down to if gold breaks out through this resistance level, I think you're going to have some big, strong moves to the upside. I say that. That looks like they're backing it off a little bit on the 5-minute and 10-minute chart. Okay. So with the market right now, just in this slow uptrend, still not below the T-line, there's still lots of good looking charts out here, especially on the long side. RAX, we recommended this one because of the J-hook pattern, and this is still a recommendation to be bought on positive trading tomorrow. Also, the doji sandwich, which could give you a nice strong move. We recommend the KND coming out of this little fry pan bottom gap up, except it headed in the wrong direction today. However, it started trading back up toward the top of the range. I would still be a buyer of this tomorrow if they could bring it back up through today's open. That would tell me the profit taking's over and they're starting to take that message into effect. A lot of stocks just very easy to hang on to right now. Boot, ever since the kicker signal, has now done a T-line crunch. Should be more upside in this one. Lots of steady eddy and very good charts coming off the 50. Here's TK. This one can be bought on positive trading tomorrow also. J-hook pattern. A positive open tomorrow would pretty much tell us that the 50 is not going to be acting as a resistance area. We should have more upside. There's a gap to fill up here. And then if they break out into this area, they can come all the way back up here. So this one looks good in the sense that if they get this one running, there's a potential of 100% move to the upside. Lexmark started showing some bounce today. Again, a J-hook pattern. Ever since the scoop type pattern, you want to stay long on this one. I would still think worst case scenario, if nothing is going on as far as them divesting their company, that you still got the potential of it going to the 200-day moving average. Lots of steady eddies. KMT, you just stay long on this one. And so these steady eddies make it very easy that the more of these you have in your portfolio, the easier your decision-making process becomes, which is all you have to do right now, knowing that you're in steady uptrends, is just stay long until you see a sell signal and a close back below the T line. UAN, looking like a J-hook pattern setting up. And if they get this one bounced, another one that could move right up to the 200-day moving average. And MKTO is just the perfect example of seeing your patterns set up. Except on this chart, it's not right. This one was kind of a doji sandwich. And then, yeah, that's goof charts. There was a doji sandwich in here, and then it looked like another doji type day today. So this is sometimes why you want to have a couple charting services to make sure that that the feeds pretty much show what's actually happening. And this is not, something's wrong there. MTK, that's maybe because that's the wrong one. Let's try MTX. MTX, another nice steady eddy coming out of this fry pan bottom, little J-hook pattern. Likely target is your 200-day moving average. GameStop. So these are the type of markets where, as long as the market isn't having a severe reversal, a lot of these steady eddy charts are going to continue to stay steady eddy. So you see, usually at the top, you'll see something that's going to tell you there's a reversal coming, like some big exuberant buying at the top. And DEC also still heading for the 200-day moving average ever since the belt hold, which makes our makes our Caesars same scenario, belt hold, nice strong price move. Now we've got a shooting star in the overbought area. Makes this very simple. If they open it lower, it's time to start taking profits. Rovi, another one that we're just sitting with. Nice steady eddy in the same trajectory it was before the little J-hook pullback. And Zyop. Zyop's supposed to have earnings here pretty soon. Another fry pan bottom. You just stay long on this one. And EIGI, another steady eddy ever since the big move here for 45 degree. And STRP, after it broke out, we're probably in this trajectory right now. So you just stay long on this one. All right, some others that are looking good at this point. SQBG's got a great setup. It broke out on our best friend, pulled right back to the 50. If this starts trading up above today's open, you want to start buying because that tells you the next wave or the next move is in progress. The profit taking is over. Slow curve on ATI, and you can see the big pattern, big fry pan bottom. I would still be a buyer of this one with the anticipation that this is where the energy starts coming in after these big fry pan bottoms. You're up in the overbought condition. That's where they start breaking out to the upside. Barnes & Noble has a good chart. Also that big kind of fry pan bottom slow curve, you can be buying this one on positive trading. And all of these, if you're buying, very simple. You just use the T-line as your stop. This is an excellent chart. There's your fry pan bottom. There's your doji gap up going into wave 3. This one you'll probably see on the recommended list tomorrow on a positive open. And fuel cell. Slow curve, and where did it break out? Right here at the 50, right here at this level. You want to be buying this one. There's a new dynamic into this one right now. Next likely target is to come up here and test that recent high, giving you a good about a 20% upside potential. Oh, can't even read my own handwriting. There's that T-line crunch. This is TGH, kind of a bobble T-line crunch. I would definitely be a buyer of this one on positive trading tomorrow. Oh, Frank, that's in it'll be in the members area on the stock picks. And right now we're still kind of formulating it. GLNG, another one that moved up nicely today. Came back, consolidated to the 50, and then went positive again. That's usually a good indication that that there's going to be more upside. GSAT, good breakout. This is a little small price stock, but I would think right now you've got the target of the 200-day moving average to look for. And that also, I think this was more of a belt hold on the other chart, or other charts. And TMST, kind of your flutter kicker, right here at the breakout level. One that you want to get ready to buy on positive trading. That's the reason for that is you got all the elements suggesting that the buyers have taken over. First of all, your flutter kicker is the strong reversal signal. Secondly, you're on the resistance level, and your stochastics coming back up. A positive open would be confirming the signal, which is a strong signal, and breaking this downward trend, giving you at least the probabilities that your upside move is going to be in the right direction, obviously, and probably with some good strength because of the signal. GEOS, another slow curve breakout through the 50. Next target right now, the 200, at least coming back up and testing this area, which gets you close enough to the 200 that they'd probably go up and touch it. EBIX. Now, a few of these were suggestions that came out of the chat room today. And again, this is the advantage of a chat room where everybody's kind of looking for the same patterns because of the same probabilities that things are going to be happening. So this one had a nice little breakout with kind of a double doji sandwich breaking out through this resistance level, telling you there's still probably a lot more force to the upside. Now, when they come to a resistance level and they gap through it, that means the force is so strong that there's usually going to be a lot of follow-up after that. PayPal, same scenario. Double doji, bullish confirmation through the resistance level. Still should be some more upside. AMBA, look at the T-line crunch. So this is where you observe the obvious. If the T-line crunch is there and they push it through the resistance level, that means they're still on a good uptrend. And where are most people going to plan on buying? If they can get through a resistance level. We just happen to be able to see that there was a lot of force taking it up through that level so that we could be buying immediately without too much hesitation. Another nice fry pan bottom and TAL. I'd look for a 45 degree off of this one at least. SWC, nice steady eddy with a little J-hook pattern, likely target the 200-day moving average. And LC, look at the J-hook pattern and look, it's actually on the other chart service, actually just touched the 50. If they open this positive and start taking through the 50 tomorrow, your J-hook pattern breakout is in progress. I'd be a buyer immediately. And just to check, I'm going to, that's the problem. Not that there, that's why. Okay. All right. Off by 1 day moving average, but it did actually touch the 50 today. Groupon, nothing to do here other than just stay long. Now, I put this one up because if you were long, you've got a good profit in it, probably about an 80% profit if you were buying from down in this area. You're in the overbought area, and it's still a ways from the T-line, just as a safety factor. Put your stop at the previous day's open. You probably won't get hit, but if they have enough force to come down through that level, that means there's a strong force selling. You want to be out at that level. You shouldn't be seeing it trade back through that level. CF was touted around in the chat room today. There's your fry pan bottom. There's your J hook. I would suspect at least your first target is up here to test this level, and then look for the 200-day moving average as your big upside. And FXCM never really got started, but today we saw a little bit of activity. Another nice little J-hook pattern with kind of a flutter kicker type signal. Another one you could be buying on positive trading tomorrow and just use today's open as your stop, which is the 50-day moving average. If they open this positive, stochastic still heading up. This should be heading higher. There's a gap to fill right up here. I would suspect that's the first target. So positive trading tomorrow makes this a very good buy based upon your little flutter kicker coming up through the 50, bouncing off the T-line. You've got everything heading in that direction, heading in the right direction. And Cuervo, also in the T-line crunch, you can be buying this one. Pushing through the 50, I'd be buying this one on strength. Okay, that's the longs. If you want to have some insurance on the downside, I'd be ready to short NWN. The bigger the signal, the more compelling. There's been a change of investor sentiment. A weaker open tomorrow would be a good indication of bearish doji sandwich was in progress. Let's see. Yay. Oh, it is moving up pretty strong. That's gold is getting very close to the breakout level. Yep, just took it off. That's the 10-minute chart. So, and there's our big morning star type scoop pattern on the 5-minute chart. Which, again, if they can break this out and start moving strong again, things like Nugget have the potential of moving from this area probably up into the mid-80s, which makes for very good option trades. Now VRX, I guess, is under investigation. I wouldn't be afraid to be shorting this one on weakness tomorrow. They could take this down pretty hard. I do trade. Yeah, I trade in the after hours. A lot of times I'm sitting here doing research on what to be recommending for the next day, um, and watching documentaries like High Plains Drifter and the Horse Soldiers, things like that. So while I'm sitting here doing all that study, I can be trading. Whoops. J6. So this move right here with just one contract of futures on, right now is picking up 370 bucks. And I was long from earlier, so that's picked up $1,000 on that trade today. Yes, stochastics are a factor. You obviously don't want to short something that's already down in the oversold area unless it's got a real compelling short chart to it. And there's Tour. You can see the bearish J-hook pattern on this one. I'd be ready to short this one on any weakness tomorrow, because if this is wave one, I could take you all the way down into this area. Good 40% to the downside. And HZNP did a kicker type signal today, also making this downward trend channel the likely target. So I'd be ready to short this one on weakness. Now again, on a kicker signal, your stochastics aren't that relevant. But if it's up here in the overbought condition and they're kicking it to the downside, that's just that much more oomph to the downside. CAD, these things just, another bearish J-hook pattern in the making. I'd be ready to short this one on weakness. And one more, blue. You can see has a hard time getting up through the 50, rolling over. Where's the next likely target? It could be down here to the bottom of the trend channel. So right now, I'm keeping an eye on a couple of these short positions just in case we wake up tomorrow and the pre-market futures are down 120 points, telling us the T-line's not going to hold, that we're probably coming back into this trend channel. So you might want to have both long and short positions on. Okay, so with that, are there any general questions on candlesticks? If anybody's typing. All right, well then, Jim, go ahead and do the double line. And in 2.8 seconds, do the next double line. So we can stop the scrolling. Yep. All right, can't even, got to stop the scrolling so I can, all right. Okay. CRC, that better have big volume. It's a good looking chart. Just make sure it's got a lot of volume. And salt, that's a good looking chart also. I would suspect your first target right now is here. If it breaks through there, I have plenty of upside on this one. So if I was buying, I'd just watch to see what it does at the 50. Skyworks had a hard time getting up through the 50. If this opens lower tomorrow, you're in a bobble. You want to take your profits and just wait for it to come back up through the 50. Adobe, same scenario. Notice up in the overbought condition, you had your hanging man occur right here at the 50. When it opened lower, you should have taken your profits. That meant they weren't going through. I wouldn't go short because I would suspect there's support at the T line, but I would definitely be out of it now. How big is doji body before it's no longer a doji? You just have to, you're really just visually seeing whether there was indecision during the day. So a little body obviously is a spinning top. You just want to make sure that it's not a solid body. That it's kind of an indecisive trading day. That's a good looking chart on Apollo. I'd be buying this one on positive trading tomorrow. Oh, this one looks like it's probably got volume considerations. If you like it, you can be buying it. Just make sure you've got at least 1 million shares trading a day so you can get in and out fairly easily. Freeport, bah. Well. Freeport, you can stay long on this one. That's still a good looking chart as long as it stays up above the T line. And TK, same scenario. You want to be buying this one on positive trading tomorrow. But telling you the 50 is not acting as resistance. Now they're going to the next resistance level, which would be up here around the 10.5 area. Where are we with the diamonds? Oops. It has to stay above the T line tomorrow. A lower open, you probably want to add a shorter 2 position, and any long positions better not be showing sell signals. ESFT, look for a 45 degree off the kicker type signal. You stay long on this one. AWR, get ready to short this one on any weakness tomorrow. A lower open would give you another opportunity for a bearish doji sandwich, which could make the 200-day moving average your likely target, even in tomorrow's trading. Tesoro needs to open positive. If it opens lower, you're going to have a bobble set up. And glue also has to open positive. If it opens lower, you close it out. That pretty much tells you they topped out up here ever since they gapped up in the overbought area. And Tezar, this is the message. Nice fry pan bottom breakout. Now you watch to see when the profit taking is over, and that's usually going to be based upon a doji or a hammer type signal, and then positive trading after that. Right now, Apple, I wouldn't be long or short. It had the potential of some strength today, but it closed at the low end of the range. Wouldn't be trading Apple at all right now. Just no direction to it. And Avis, nothing here. There's just nothing to trade off of this one. I wouldn't be long or short on this one. Whenever you can't identify a trend or a signal or a pattern, go someplace else because there's too many other places that do have signals or patterns. Same scenario on this one. You're just in a sideways mode, and there's really nothing you can get your teeth into on this one. I'd be trading someplace else. Joy, that's got a good little cup and handle type setup. I'd be ready. If I hadn't bought this, I'd have my buy stop above today's high. If it comes up through there, pretty much telling me the J-hook pattern's in progress. BVN. has to open positive tomorrow. If it opens lower, you can see the trajectory has disappeared. Magna, just stay long. You had the gap up. Look for a 45-degree off of here. And HBM, another one, a nice steady eddy. You stay long on this one as long as it stays above the T-line. Hello, Alan. Hertz. Hertz, nothing exciting here. You can be buying this one on strength. It's still got this little downtrending channel to, or resistance level it needs to break, but you do have a buy signal. You can buy this on strength, then just use the T-line as your stop. And GVA. Oh, you stay long. Definitely want to see it stay in this trajectory. I wouldn't want to see it come back below today's open in tomorrow's trading. That would tell me the thrill is gone. Oops, AKM did not work. We're staying long in AU. Nice, and as long as gold stays positive, or trades positive, these gold stocks will continue to run. PRMW. This one has to open positive. If I was long, I'd stay long. I wouldn't be buying it, though, until you see a breakout through this level. But you're running out of steam on your stochastics. If this one opened lower tomorrow, I would probably close it out and then put my buy stop up above the, whatever this is, the 975 area. Royal Caribbean, you can stay long, but this one also has to stay up above the T-line, has to open positive. And MPWR. This one you can stay long after the big left-right combo, after the hammer signal off the 200. If you bought it on the positive trading, you stay long. You just watch to see what it does at the 50. If I was buying it, I'd want to definitely see it close above the 50, which also is this big downtrending channel. Ross Stores, I'd be out of this one. You can see there's they were kind of doing a fry pan bottom, which meant they had to break out, which they didn't. I'd be out of this position. It's sideways. SSRI trying to come back up. We're still watching to buy this. If it breaks out through this level, that would tell us wave 3 coming out of this scoop pattern is still in effect. And MPWR, did we do that already? Yes, we must have. Oh, that's because I'm way down here. Why am I going in that direction? AGI, I'd be a buyer of this one tomorrow on positive trading. Steeris has to open positive tomorrow if you're in it. If it opens lower, you close it out immediately. If it opens lower, pretty much telling us the downtrending channel is still in progress. AKAM, another one that has to open positive. Otherwise, today's bearish engulfing signal would be confirming. If it opened lower, I would definitely close it out, with the anticipation that now that they broke up through the 50, they're going to come back and test the 50 as support. LNG, just stay long. Nothing wrong there. XIV, XIV, nothing there to get real excited about. I probably wouldn't be long or short that one. LAD was in the process of breaking out. Still hasn't done it yet. Would still be a buyer if it came up through this level, which it looks like they're trying to do a your classic J-hook pattern. So I'd watch to see what happens once the T-line catches up. Monster, nothing here yet either. This is why you always have to watch to see what it does once it gets to the T-line, to see what the reaction is going to be at that level. Big lots, you can stay long. Just use the T-line as your stop. Alta, having a hard time getting through the 200. If this opens lower tomorrow, you close it out. It'll be in the bobble. And Baby backed off today, so it has to open positive tomorrow to stay in it. But as you can see, it's already broken this downward trend channel. It's now in an upward trend as long as it stays above the T-line. And CSIQ, just stay long. Look for the 200 now. Plus, there's a gap right up here to be filled. So see if they can get through the 200. Abbott, this one you close out on a weaker open tomorrow. WABA, this one should have been closed out today. Nothing here. If I was shorting it, I'd look to see it come. Want to see it come back down through today's low. And Macy's, stay long as it stays above the T-line. Nike, evening star type signal. If this opens lower, you close it out. They're coming back to test the 50 and the T-line. But as you can see, they failed right exactly where they failed before. You want to definitely see support on those on the 50 before getting back in. And OPK, nice little fry pan bottom J-hook to stay long. Lexmark, nice J-hook pattern. You stay long on this one. Netflix. Netflix has to open positive also. Just kind of running out of steam. And running out of steam at pretty much this downward channel. So if this opened lower tomorrow, you'd want to be out of your long positions. Win, stay long. Getting a little bit toppy. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't come back and test the 200. And Smith & Wesson, if this opens lower, if this trades back below today's low, you want to close it out, because that tells you they failed up here at this level again, and they're coming back to test the T-line. First Solar, you stay long. At this point, I'd have a sell stop at today's open. If they were able to bring it back down through there, they've failed up here. Oh, Pshaw. Is this Cirrus? Cirrus, notice you've done a shooting star, shooting star. If this opens lower, you close it out. It's also failing right at the same spot that it failed before. KMI, you just stay long. Nice steady eddy. And PayPal, you stay long. It broke through this resistance level. DDD, all you can do in this one is stay long as it stays in this steady uptrend. Use the T-line as your stop. Is the number of fry pan bottoms specific to this market, or do you always scan for them in any market? Always scan for them in any market. They're usually going to be around, and they're not something that you scan for. It's something that you probably have found either through other situations. Usually you don't scan for a fry pan bottom. You identify it because of other signals or patterns that have occurred during that uptrend. Best Buy did get to the first target, the 200. Did a doji. You put your sell stop at today's low. If it comes back down through there, it's pretty much told you they've failed at the 200. Let's see. Do you use the 3T line on any specific situations? I use the 3T line. Do I have it on this chart? No, I don't. If you start moving too far away from the T line, that's when the 3T line now becomes more effective. And usually that's going to occur when you're way away from the T line, well up in the overbought or way down in the oversold situation. AMGN. You can be shorting this one. I'd watch to see what it does right here, but I wouldn't be afraid to short this one on weakness because you can see what the overall trend is. And that's kind of where you observe the obvious. This one, on the other hand, has done a little J-hook pattern right here. I'd be a buyer of this one on positive trading with the anticipation it's coming back up to test the 200. Earned run average. Be ready to buy this one on positive trading. Wouldn't buy it until it does come up through the 50. But this big left-right combo is the one you're looking for. See, we did OPK. OPK, you just stay long. STRP back and fill today, but didn't change this direction. Positive trading tomorrow is that we're waking up and we're not seeing that the pre-market futures are showing that the Dow is going to open up down 120 points. That we want to see the pre-market futures are flat or positive, and whatever we were watching was not opening up way down. It was opening right about the same level it closed, or it's slightly positive. Cowen, never been a fan of Cowen. I worked for them too long. You can stay long, just don't let it close below the T line. Whiting, you start watching. With the crude oil starting to base, a lot of these small companies, did I? Oh, that's because I skipped the oils. I'd get ready to buy these because you got a lot of oils right now that are showing good signs. Here's a nice fry pan bottom on CWEI. TEGP, another good looking, another good looking chart that broke through the 50 today. GEL, nice little double doji setup. I'd buy this one on positive trading. And NS, that's got a nice little J-hook pattern. Wouldn't be afraid to buy this one on positive trading tomorrow. Let's see, Monster. You can get ready to short this one on weakness tomorrow. Would you short coffee futures on a lower open tomorrow? If you did, you'd have to watch to see, because you're down here in the oversold area and you're getting to this level. If you did short it on weakness, it's just not one that looks real great as far as a short, just because you're too close to a support level. Now, if it had a big down day and broke this level, yes, then I'd rather short on that weakness. I'm a little confused. Most of these trades that are breaking above the T-line are in the overbought area. Yes, if they're in a pattern, you're buying the signals when they're in the oversold area, but you're buying the patterns usually when they're breaking out, and that they'll usually be in the overbought condition. So that's why you want to know the difference of the criteria for buying a candlestick reversal signal and buying a candlestick pattern breakout. RRTS has to open positive tomorrow. If it opens lower, you can see the trajectory has kind of disappeared on this one. Oh, Victor, I tried to call you yesterday or Friday and just got the fax squeak. RWLK hasn't been able to get back up above the T line. If you were short, you stay short, but I wouldn't be long right now. AYA just hasn't been able to get started. Better than I thought. Yeah, we've got some AYA. We're just not in it very big because it's really hasn't done anything great, but as long as it stays in a steady uptrend, you want to stay with this one. And TRGP, just stay long. Kind of your breakout. Make this bigger. And notice where your breakout is occurring when your stochastics are in the overbought condition. Can you look at a monthly? Well, I don't really care about a monthly on the only because I want to see what's happening right now. Let's see, monthly. There's weekly. Nothing. Can't really draw anything off the monthly. I will, Victor. Yeah, monthly doesn't tell me anything. And again, I don't pay attention to, whoops. Because I'm not holding anything long term or very long term. I want to see what's happening right now. Long crude. You can see it's flat. Just no great trajectory going on right now. So we're not trading in crude. But the fact that crude is in a basing pattern at least tells us crude oil prices will stop, and that was the big worry for the market. So it doesn't become a tradable entity, but it becomes an indicator for us to tell us what the rest of the market is probably going to do. There is a pattern that I see often at the beginning of uptrends that look like a dark cloud in reverse. Yeah, that's the piercing signal. Oh, but that's not a signal. Now that's a signal. That's a bullish Harami, but this is not a signal. This is, but where it occurred is a little bit more relevant because it occurred right at the same place they did a double bottom. So it was the next day breaking through this downtrending channel that was a confirmation that we're going to have some upside, but it's not a signal. If it was a signal, yeah, call it white cloud. All right. If it was a signal, remember the Japanese race traders had 400 years to identify these patterns and tell us what they mean. How much time do you give if buy/sell at the open and or if it flips around? If tomorrow, let's say the market opened a little bit lower, right on the T line, and I had buys that I was going to do, I'd probably just wait to see whether they were going to support on the T line. And if I was looking at a chart, what was one of the ones? If I was looking at a chart and the market opened weaker, but this one opened positive and then started creeping up more and more, even though the market wasn't doing anything, yes, I'd jump in and buy it because that told me this pattern is working without any influence on the general market itself. So Sometimes it takes me 30 seconds to decide to get in. Sometimes it'll be 30 minutes waiting to see what the market's going to do. Tyson Foods has to open positive. If it opens lower, you've got kind of a bearish doji sandwich that would probably take you down through the T line. I'd close out the position and wait to see what it does at the T line. NTAP, I would just stay long as it stays above the T line, because there's your fry pan bottom. Let's see, TRGP, clarify breakout when stochastics in the overbought. Because you've had a pattern. Your pattern was the bobble here. And now you've broken out through this level. They were breaking it out. They were gapping up through a resistance level. Even though we knew the stochastics were in the overbought area, the pattern was telling us we have a J-hook / bobble / breakout. That's telling us the price. Remember, we're not trading stochastics. We're trading price. Stochastics just kind of tell us where we are in that trend. Doesn't mean we don't buy in an overbought condition or we don't sell in an oversold condition, because that overbought condition may stay overbought for months. You always buy the signals and the patterns, and you get better confirmation that this is a buy signal if your stochastics are down here in the oversold area. If you were in CF, would you go to the weekly chart? Not really. I'll be going off of this pattern. Weekly chart doesn't, I mean, you can look at the weekly chart if you'd like to. It's got a good weekly chart also, but I wouldn't be buying it based on the weekly chart. I'm buying it based on J-hook pattern, big fry pan bottom, and notice where the breakout is occurring when we're up here in the overbought condition. S&P 500 looks like a blue ice failure. No, not yet. To me, as long as we're above the T line, you just stay long. TJ, my stochastics are 12.33. Slow. Is that Twitter? Ken, I'm guessing. Twitter, you can see the J-hook pattern setting up. At this point, I would be a buyer if it comes up through the 50. That would tell me you got a J-hook pattern breakout. Zoe's Pizza, you get ready to buy this one. Again, notice where it broke out. Again, with your stochastics up here in the overbought area, I'd be a buyer on positive trading, because then you have your doji sandwich telling you you're probably going to have more upside, which is taking you away from the oh, you know, that is why, Victor. I have a wrong number there. Okay. STX. Yeah, trying to. Still having a hard time getting through the 50. Yeah, I wouldn't consider buying this one until it does get up through the 50. Okay, keep an eye on your gold. We're getting very close to this breakout. So if it does break this out, as you can see, on a bigger chart, this is the classic pattern that we're looking for, is that big fry pan bottom J-hook pattern. when a stock bottoms and curves up, how do you know it's making a positive J-hook instead of just setting up to make a negative J-hook? Oh boy, a positive J-hook you can see. So if this broke out through this level, as we can see, it's setting up for a positive J-hook. If it fails right here and starts selling off, it pretty much tells us we've got resistance there, a double top. I trade nuggets only because I trade the options on it, and as you can see, it moves around pretty hefty each day. So those options swing quite a bit. So this is kind of taking the use of candlesticks to the maximum, which is if I can identify a pattern and I can identify it in a very fast moving, I mean, you can always find a nice chart pattern, but if this is telling you on the next move like this, you're going to be up 4% versus another chart that tells you you're going to be up 40%, I'd be rather trading something that has a potential of moving up big. And when it does move, on something like this, I may not trade the stock. I may trade the options because if this is leveraged and you leverage the options, you've got the risk-reward factor that you might not have a whole lot of money in for very big gains to the upside. Okay. Oh, we got done pretty early tonight. All right. Just keep an eye on the pre-market futures for tomorrow. We definitely need to see them stay up above the T-line. If they start trading lower, that pretty much tells us that if they bring it back down through the T-line, that this is not going to be a very wild up move. This may be just at best, a trend channel, which tells us we're back in this up, down, up, down, up, down, making it hard. Oh, Jay, that's a good question. I've got both, so I don't know which ones to tell you. I would probably still go with Nugget just because of the leverage. So now, usually the Nugget options right now are pretty expensive, meaning they're maybe $8. So I might not be able to buy very many of them. Versus be able to buy more of a $1.50 option that you might find over in AU. But I guess it all boils down to which is heavier, a pound of lead or a pound of gold. When you look at a chart, if I'm buying right here, and I think my next target is the 200-day moving average, and I can calculate from 25 to 45 is the potential move, that's bigger than a 40%. So that's a pretty big move. But if I'm looking at something like, I don't know if this is, if I see something like this, and let's say this had a good chart, Monsanto, and it could move from here to here, which would be only a 6% move. Obviously, I'm going to go with the one that has the much better upside. So there's some charts out there that I'm trying to think, that could have a good upside move, but you may only have 5 points on a $60 stock. That might be a 7% move on something like DuPont. And that's why I kind of stay away from the institutional traders because they're not going to move around very fast. Now, some of the biggies like Apple, when they do get moving, they can move a big percentage. They can move 20% and have huge amount of liquidity. So you can trade the options or the stock without too much problem. Some of these others, which one was I looking at today? Forget which one we were looking at, but the bid-ask spread was fairly big, which meant there wasn't a whole lot of liquidity, less liquidity in the stock and much less liquidity in the options. Oh, the question is silver. Silver is getting a decent looking chart. That may not be the right site A J. Oh, site A K. Yes. I'm guessing that they're both about the same because they're both coming off these big fry pan bottoms. Silver has just hit the 62% retracement level and started back up. But I would think with the gold chart, with this potential breakout, that could have another big substantial move. The best short, I think, will probably be something like NWN. If it opens weaker after that big bearish signal, especially if they came down through today's low, I think they could take it fairly quickly right down to the 200-day moving average. And the long, which has good volume, is this CDE. There's that J-hook pattern with a little doji gap up. I think the volume was pretty decent on this one. But if this moved about 2 points from here would give you a good 50% or better upside. Let's see. In your experience, if you saw several charts that look really strong, is it better to take smaller positions in all of them or take larger positions in just a few of them? I always keep I don't have to make that decision. Usually, if I've got my portfolio in 10 positions, very rarely am I to where I don't have them all fully invested, except at maybe when I've cashed out of something, I've got 1 or 2 positions available. So I keep my positioning the same, that I only want to put on 10 positions. So that means if I've got 2 funds to buy 2 more positions because I sold out 2 the night before, then I'll take a look at all the good charts, and then when we do our scanning process, we go through our cultivation process, and that's why you want to kind of review the training video on the signals and patterns quantified, which ones have the biggest upside potential or downside if you're short. So that if I was looking at something, I would be looking at something that has the best force behind it, and something like this, which is a J-hook pattern with a doji gap up, your best friend, that tells me I probably got a lot more force. So that'd be something better than finding something like this that's just doing a buy signal. This tells me they're really coming into it with a great strength. Yeah, CDE is one of the, I think, gold and silver mining companies. Let's see, LKQ. What can this kind of stock be bought at what level after a big sell-off today? LKQ. What type of signal is that? Why would you buy this after a big sell-off? Yeah, that's a dark cloud, bearish belt hold, failed right at the 200. Stochastics in the overbought area turning down. I'd be ready to short this one, telling me they aren't, that they're probably heading back down. So I wouldn't be looking for a buy. I'd be looking for a short on this one. Okay. All right, still early enough to play with a dog. So with that, everybody have a good evening. We'll see everybody in the chat rooms bright and early tomorrow morning.